Welcome back! Well, this looks like Anna's diary. May 14th, 1930. Yesterday, something terrible happened. I do not know who to turn to, who to talk to, so I have decided to write it down. You, dear diary, are now my confidant and sole guardian of my secret thoughts. Hans lies in the next room, teetering between life and death, and I am terrified. Oh, the injustice of life. First Mamma, then Hans. Please, dear Lord, don't take my little brother away as well. May 15th, 1930. Hans made me promise to keep this a secret, but its burden is too heavy. I know I can tell you, though, dear diary. We discovered a cave in the mountains, a marvelous cavern with ancient paintings on the walls. Only prehistoric man could have painted them because there were depictions of mammoths, which are prehistoric creatures as well, that much I know. I hate mammoths now. It's all because of them and because of that stupid prehistoric children's toy. Why, Hans? Oh, why did you try and take it? And why did I let you climb up there? It's my fault you are in a coma now. Hans, if you die, I do not know how I could ever forgive myself. May 16th, 1930. Hans has still not regained consciousness. Father cannot sleep and Gertrude cries all day long. Outside the heat is suffocating, but inside the house is icy cold and dismal. I still have hope though. I know my brother, I know his strength, he will pull through. He never gives in. May 17th, 1930. I cannot think of anything else but Hans. In all my waking and sleeping dreams, I see his fall over and over. I see his head hitting the rock and his oh so pale face softening. I have taken refuge in the attic. It is the only place where I find any peace, wrapped up in all my memories. May 18th, 1930. 5 days have passed since the accident, and Hans has still not opened his eyes. To see him like this is unbearable. Please God, protect him. Take my life, not his. May 19th, 1930. I feel so desperate, so alone. I want to snuggle up in Father's arms, but I dare not. He is just so impassive. Oh Hans, don't leave me here. May 20th, 1930. It has happened. Hans has come back to life. He opened his eyes and uttered my name. My name. Do you realize? This is the happiest day of my life. I want to take to the streets and sing, to proclaim my joy to the world. Thank you. Oh, thank you, God. May 22nd, 1930. How wonderful, how beautiful life is. Gertrude and I cannot stop breaking into uncontrollable fits of giggles. Hans even wolfed down his meal today. I knew he was tough, my little brother. Even Father smiled at me today when he said good morning. May 25th, 1930. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. I am totally absorbed in Hans's recovery. I have scarcely 5 minutes to myself to return to my refuge and scribble down these words. May 29th, 1930. It is very curious. Whether Hans is hungry, thirsty, or if he wants something, he cannot stop saying my name. He can't bear it when I leave him even for an instant. Gertrude thinks that I should move my bed into his room to help him sleep better. I hope that Father will agree. June 2nd, 1930. Today was the first day that Hans has left the house. We went for a short walk in the garden, but Hans is still very weak. The doctor said we should be patient and shouldn't rush him. It is so hard though. I hope so much that life can return to how it once was. June 20th, 1930. Hans has been out of his coma for a month now. He still doesn't say much and has difficulty moving. He sits motionless for long periods of time, his eyes wide open as though lost in thought. I have often had to call his name several times before he reacts. Then he will smile, and when he does, the moment is magic for me and I couldn't possibly be happier. June 22nd, 1930. I had to talk to him, the burden was too great. I asked Hans about the accident in the cave to find out what he could remember. He could utter only one word, mammoth, and his eyes glowed so strangely when he said it that he frightened me. September 15th, 1930. I go back to school today and for the first time in my life I am dreading it. I am afraid of leaving Hans alone. Despite Gertrude's kindness and attention, I have the impression that Hans is much less nervous when I'm there. October 20th, 1930. While I was doing my homework yesterday evening, Hans crept up on me so quietly that he made me jump. He took a pencil and a blank sheet of paper and curiously he started drawing. It is the first time since his accident he has done anything but daydream. October 28th, 1930. Hans scribbles almost obsessively. It is all he will do all day long. I feel it annoys father. Nobody else understands, but I can see that Hans is trying to draw mammoths. November 16th, 1930. Today is my birthday and Gertrude has made me an apple pie, my favorite. But father has not returned home for lunch and Hans doesn't want to leave his room. The best present I could ever have is to see Hans back on the way to recovery. December 25th, 1930. Snow is falling. It is so beautiful. January 10th, 1931. The doctor visited to examine Hans. He seems happy that my little brother has fully recovered his faculties. It truly is a miracle. I don't understand why he doesn't talk more though. Why isn't he livelier like he was before? February 9th, 1931. It is Hans's birthday. Today he is 11 years old. I have the strangest of impressions that actually he has lost 5 years rather than he gained one more. February 24th, 1931. The doctor has just left. I saw him whispering with father. Their serious expressions worried me awfully. What could they be hiding from me? I am grown up now. At the age of 15 you can understand everything. I am too scared to ask father what is happening. March 15th, 1931. I have been thinking and it seems to me that Hans's attitude isn't normal. The shock of the fall and his coma must have had much more serious effects than we first imagined. Hans, my dear brother, what is happening to you? April 4th, 1941. I have discovered the truth. Hans is stunned, physically and mentally. I eavesdropped a conversation between the doctor, father, and Gertrude. Gertrude buried her tear-filled eyes in her apron and father muttered the word retard under his breath. How could he say such a thing? April 13th, 1941. It is Easter and we're on school holidays. This means I can spend all day with Hans and protect him from father's permanent dark moods. He cannot accept the fact that Hans, his only son, will stay in this state forever. April 14th, 1941. It is truly difficult to accept, but it is not Hans's fault. Mine maybe, but not Hans's. I do not know how to make father understand. He seems full of hatred for him. It is dreadful. I feel so powerless. May 14th, 1941. 1 year. 1 year has gone by and it feels like an eternity. The situation shows no signs of improvement, neither in terms of Hans's mental health or father's attitude towards him. May 30th, 1941. Extraordinary! Father has decided to take Hans to Paris for new tests. He says that only in the French capital will he find truly competent doctors. We must make Hans ready for the great expedition. June 6th, 1941. No news from father and Hans, but I remain hopeful. I am sure they will take good care of my little brother. July 15th, 1931. They have returned. Hans rushed into my arms and started crying. It took me a long time to calm him down and get him to sleep. Father is still as taciturn as he was before he left. The French doctors have confirmed the diagnosis. Hans will remain physically and mentally impaired. I am stunned. August 28th, 1941. The summer is coming to a close. It has been less stifling than the last. The sun has put color in Hans's cheeks. When I look at him, I have difficulty imagining that he will not change. November 16th, 1941. Father still says nothing and increasingly shuts himself away in his office at the factory. Christmas. Gertrude tells me that love and faith triumph over any science. I lack neither, God be praised. January 12th, 1942. Father took Hans to the factory this morning. Hans was so afraid that I accompanied them. Fortunately, father said nothing. I failed to understand why he insisted on bringing him there. January 13th, 1942. Father left for the factory with Hans once again this morning. I think he wants to persuade Hans that he could be useful for something. It is his way of resisting fate. February 17th, 1942. For a month now, every morning, Hans has gone to work with father at the factory. I'm not exactly sure what he does there, but he seems to enjoy it. I feel my brother's behavior has changed considerably. He is much less capricious. April 14th, 1942. I could cry. Hans has made me a present, a small robot mammoth with a trunk that rises and falls. When father saw it, he nodded his head in satisfaction. May 20th, 1942. Both Gertrude and father now have their own robot mammoths. Theirs are even more intricate and finely tuned. Little brother is not such a retard after all. October 15th, 1942. Hans's mammoths now walk, raise their trunks, and wag their tails. It's incredible. December 22nd, 1942. I met the head of the factory workshop, Mr. Grips, this morning. He says that for a young lad of 12, Hans is very gifted. It is a shame he only makes elephants.